Welcome back to Cozy Womb Podcast. This is episode 37. Shield that emotional baggage. My name is Shan, mom of the girls, 2 girls, and I'm here to share parenting tips, insight, and things we don't think about every day that we should. So this episode, I wanted to ask if you guys ever reflect on how you grew up as adults, because you have time, you have the knowledge of good and bad, and you have the knowledge of wrong and right. Now, think about the things that you've experienced that you hated as a kid and the things that you had to go through because you were a child. You couldn't decide. Now, think about how much you didn't want to be in certain places, and think about how many things you have that are unprocessed. And when I say unprocessed, I mean unprocessed trauma to the point where you haven't dealt with it, you don't want to talk about it. You have certain triggers that anger you while you're parenting, and you need to get rid of that, or you need to place that somewhere else and not get that frustration out on your kids. Do you do something about that frustration, and what do you do? And how does that unprocessed trauma from your childhood blend into how you raise your kids today? That is what I'm talking about in this episode. So after these messages, we'll get into it. I have Cozy Womb merch on Teespring. # Cozy Womb Shop. You'll find it. I have it posted on my Instagram, Cozy Womb Pod. I also have it posted on my Twitter, Cozy Womb Pod. Go ahead and add me and follow. I also have Mama's Cozy Closet, where I created merch just for mamas because we do so much, so we deserve. But don't be sad, dads. On Cozy Womb Shop, I have t-shirts on there, something very seldom daddy, because I know y'all don't like to blast, oh, I'm a dad, on my stuff. So I have something for everybody. I have kids hoodies, I have coffee mugs, I have mama's little zip pouch bags that keep our discreet items in there. So check it out, and thank you for supporting the Cozy Womb Podcast. Back to the show. We going back to the show. Hey guys, just a reminder, there is Mama's Cozy Closet that has some merch on there for moms out there. So if you're interested in getting a cute sweatshirt, getting a cute sweatshirt, a fanny pack, or a mug, I got some goodies on there for you guys. All right, peace. How does the way that you were raised affect your relationships, family relations, and parenting today? I think it's something that we don't often think about, but I think we should, because it is the deciding factor on, do we go help our kids? What do we say to our kids? What do we show our kids? What do we prevent our kids from experiencing, and why? So if you have any unprocessed baggage emotionally, any PTSD, any things that are traumatic to you because it triggers memories from your childhood, I think that's something you should address before you have kids. But sometimes people don't get that space or that time, or they don't mature enough to go ahead and dig through those past issues so they could be better people. And you have to sort of balance working on you while raising kids at the same time. So some type of emotional baggage that parents may deal with could be trying to figure out how they can love their child in a parent-like manner if their parents never did it. If they've never received that feeling as a kid, how do you do it? How do you show your kid that you care or you're proud if you grew up in a home with parents or aunts and uncles or grandparents that never showed you that, never told you certain things that would encourage you to do better? Or they act as though that's what you're supposed to do. You don't need any extra help. You don't need any extra congrats on it. Just do it. I don't want to raise my kids like that. So if I see them doing something without me having to ask them, I let them know that I see it. Let them know that I'm aware, and I let them know that I appreciate it, because you don't want your kids to grow up into adults that feel like they're never appreciated, so they don't do anything good. The next thing that a lot of parents do, because they saw another parent do it when they were young, is not ask for help. I had a mom that never asked for help. She was either always offered help and she said no, or she never made it aware that she needed help for someone to help her, or she just wasn't going to ask for help. She would rather struggle through it. So me growing up, it was hard for me to ask for help from people. As a mom, I completely let that go. Like, since I had my first kid, asking for help is like not an issue for me. I just let it known. The sooner the better, because you have more options of how people can help you, if they can help you. I open my mouth. So we got to stop, holding back, whether it's pride or ego, and ask for help if we need help, because realistically, your parents didn't raise you without help. Their parents didn't raise them without help. So ask for help. The next thing, that's a type of emotional baggage that parents may carry, is avoiding showing affection because you didn't get it. So you might see this a lot in dads who are like, my mom or my dad wasn't there for me, so my kid is at their mom's house. They just at their mom's house. I don't need to go. Like, they know where I'm at. Just because you were raised where you didn't get certain treatment doesn't mean that as punishment, or as you're gonna be raised the same way I was raised, or just because I can doesn't mean I need to, because I became a better person without these people in my life. I became a better person without my dad being around. Your child is not you. Your children are parts of you. So if you have it in your life and in your opportunity to financially, emotionally, physically, to be around your kid, I feel like even if your parents didn't do it, you should be around your kids. For me, my whole goal in raising my children is to raise them better than I was. So to give them a better childhood than I had. To let them explore different things and discuss certain things I wish my mom did that she didn't do, and I had to find out later. I tell my girls everything. I explain to them things that I wish somebody would have explained to me as a little girl, and not feel as though I couldn't handle the information, or just assume the wrong thing to the point where it's just silent. You're just into situations in silence, and unsureness and insecureness sits in. It's just a lot of pointless things that can be addressed if you just are willing to have the conversation. Or, if you can sit there today, right now, and say, I can't remember the last time I hugged my kid, go hug your kid. If you can sit here and be like, I can't remember the last time, I watched something my kid wanted to watch, or did something my kid wanted to do that I don't like. Like, kids want you to do stuff like that. Yes, having money is cool. Being able to buy them toys is cool, but kids value you spending the time over everything else. Another type of emotional baggage that parents may have stemming from childhood could be the fear of living a good life, because you're always thinking somebody's going to come in your life and ruin it, or something bad is going to happen, or you're going to wake up one day in fear of you're not going to be able to have your house anymore, you're not going to be able to have your job, or you're not going to be able to have your car. It's like a fear that your life as it is now can go bad at any time, and it kind of like stops you from enjoying it or being present in like your kids every day, because you don't want to allow yourself to have the faith and the appreciation of, well, maybe I did what I was supposed to do. That's why I have these things. Maybe I took advantage of the opportunities in life and my career to have what I have. Maybe I deserve it. A lot of parents might have kids, might have a nice job, house, friends, family, and still feel like they're an imposter, meaning you don't feel like you're supposed to be there. You don't feel like you're supposed to have nice things. You don't feel like you're deserving of it. And so every day you wake up with this fear, or you walk around with this chip on your shoulder as if somebody's going to come take what you have that's good. Don't do that. Like, that's anxiety. And kids can pick up on the fact that, man, my dad is never happy, or my dad is always worrying, or my dad is sometimes scared to smile, scared to laugh, scared to get comfortable. He doesn't really sit down. He's always working. Or he never feels like he's allowed to take a day off. He never feels like he's allowed to do something nice for himself. Moms do it too. They might work 2 jobs. They might leave early in the morning when it's dark and come home late when it's dark. They don't really relax and chill because they feel like they're going to forget something, or they feel like there's something that they didn't do. Or, maybe they messed up a little bit at work and now their boss is going to fire them the next day. So they're just worried and they can't be comfortable in their house. They can't be comfortable in their beds. And, you might buy your parents nice things and they don't even use them because they feel like they're not deserving of it. Another issue with emotional baggage that you could bring into parenthood is also being overly critical of yourself. Because the more you're super critical of yourself, you're going to make your kids uncomfortable in life to try something because they feel like you're going to be like instantly disappointed because it wasn't good enough, or it doesn't impress you. So don't be overly critical of yourself to the point where you make your kids uneasy, or you make the person you're with or the other parent uncomfortable and feeling like, okay, we're going to go, do this thing. Don't tell your dad when we get home, or vice versa. Don't tell your mom that, we tried this thing, because that she wouldn't want to do it because she's going to think like this is bad and this is bad and this is bad. And she's going to worry herself with the what ifs this happened and not be able to enjoy, the moment, not be able to enjoy an opportunity. So stop being overly critical of yourself. I don't think there's any type of perfect parent. I feel like parents can do everything that they think is right for their kids. And when their kid grows up and becomes a teenager, they might voice what you don't do good. They might voice what you don't cook good. They might voice what you say that annoys them. Because you can't please everybody, and I don't feel like you're going to 110% be able to please your kid because they all have different personalities. So stop being overly critical. The next thing is stop avoiding discussions that need to be had. If there's something that you're feeling that you're not discussing, or you're not talking to somebody else about it, and you're finding yourself yelling more at your kid when it's not really anything that they're doing, it's more so that you're frustrated internally with yourself, you need to check yourself. If you need to take yourself to therapy, go do that. If you need to go online and talk to someone, or virtually talk to a therapist, you can do that. I feel like when you're a kid, you have an excuse not to do what you need to do to get certain help. When you're a teenager, you can have that excuse. When you're in your 20s, those are your years to mess up. But after your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s, if you know deep down that you need therapy, go to therapy. There's no point in not being the best parent that you could be to your kids because you refuse to deal with your past shit. Like, deal with it. Last thing before I get out of here, that's an emotional baggage that a lot of parents carry around, is not being forgiving of things that happen to them. And when you're not forgiving of things that have happened to you in life, you raise kids that are like brick walls when it comes to compassion. So you raise kids that are not forgiving. And the last thing you want to do is raise kids that are not forgiving, that have no compassion for anybody else, that have no compassion for animals, that have no compassion for the poor or the disabled, that have no compassion for kids that are not popular. Okay? So if you're not forgiving, your kids are not going to be forgiving. So learn What is it that you need to do to let go of, to make space for more goodness within you than like stale old memories that's not helping you today? That is all I have for shielding that emotional baggage away from your kids. Hopefully I helped somebody. And if you know somebody that this can help, please send them the link to Cozy Womb Podcast so they can go through and probably hear something that they needed to hear. My name is Shan. Peace. Bye.
Bye.